Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here. It is the 9-Minute Phillip on this Thursday. Thursday already. I lost track of the days this week. We have a special guest here. If you weren't in a festive mood before now, here you go. We're gonna do our best to get in a festive mood. This is Michelle Fabro, the president of the Upper Ohio Valley Italian Heritage Festival, UNDOS,
Yes.
as well. Always have to mention UNDOS, and you just do a sensational job with the festival year in, year out. But there's so much more than just the festival in terms of the scholarships and the work within the community and naming the Italian American of the Year and everything that goes into it. It's a year-round job, and you just do a great job. And everybody that works with you, and I've had the pleasure of emceeing the kickoff dinner down at Undo's. But here, I'm learning something new this week. I'm learning about the Italian festival Christmas Gala, or just Gala,
Yes.
and that's this Sunday.
It's this Sunday.
So welcome, first of all. Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to be with you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right. So before we get started, and I know you know Mike Biasi,
I do.
because he is, and I always like to do this just because I like to see the microphone go way over here. The Valley Converting, our sponsor. So we have Valley Converting, our sponsor for the 9-Minute Phillip. We greatly appreciate everything that they do, and we can't thank them enough. And right now, we're going to hear a special message from them.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
Recycle for your future.
That's a great story, and I know we can share this story. He would actually appreciate
I
this
think
story.
so, yeah.
All right, so Mike Biasi, and I always say the crew up in Toronto, T-Town, the Gem City. If you have recycling to get done, if you want to get rid of some paper products that you just don't need anymore, maybe medical records, tax records that are they're outdated, you don't need them. Turn them into something new. Give them a new life, as Mike likes to say. So he's going to recycle them. But you were just telling me about now, Mike. If you don't know Mike, he's a character. He's gonna go for the laugh every time. He just really has a good time. And you were just telling me about a celebrity waiter situation he was in.
I believe it was the Business and Professional Women's Club
Mhm.
had an event, and then they had celebrity waiters there. And besides picking the Woman of the Year, they also did the Waiter of the Year. And so everybody, I think, had their own little gig depending on how they dressed or whatever. But Mike gave out lottery tickets with his scratch off lottery tickets. He was the winner by a long stretch.
That sounds about right for Mike to do something like that. He loves the lottery tickets. And it's $2 bills. Has he given you a $2 bill yet?
No, I didn't got a lottery ticket, but that's okay.
Next time he sees you,
Next
he'll give you a
time I'll
$2
ask.
bill. Yeah, he always has. He's always handing those out. I'm like, where do you get these? He's like, I
He
go
makes
to the
them at
bank.
the paper mill.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, he probably does. But he goes to the bank, gets them, and he hands them out as like little gifts. So, anyways, that's enough about Mike. But we can't thank Mike and the crew up at Valley Converting for their sponsorship. And again, want to mention here with Michelle Fabro, the president of the UNDOS, Upper Ohio Valley Italian Heritage Festival. And we know about that in the summer. Everybody thinks it's summertime. We know what that's all about. But now all of a sudden, we have the gala. In the wintertime, we have the gala. Explain to me the origins of the gala.
Actually, the gal that was our coordinator at one time and who's now a board member, she got this brainstorm idea, which we all agreed with, to let's have the spirit of the festival carry through the holidays too.
Okay.
So we have a lot of sponsors. We have a lot of friends of the festival that we see during that weekend and close to planning, but then you lose touch with them. And what better way to celebrate than with people that you have that relationship with? So.
Yeah. So just to give everybody the information, I'm going to put my cheaters on. It's the Italian Festival Gala. It is this Sunday, December 15th. Now, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock, the doors open.
4 o'clock, the doors open, so you get there at 4. But the festivities really get up and running at 5.
Well, the 4 o'clock you can mingle, and
Okay.
that an pasta board will be at each
Oh, okay.
table to
All right.
share.
So 4 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah, don't miss
No.
that. That's
No.
a good part of the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to do 4 o'clock, so you get the Christmas mingle, the holiday mingle, and a
Right,
little good
right.
some good pasta, maybe refreshment or two. You never know. Undo's West, great location, easy to get to, and just they do a great job. They do the kickoff dinner
Yes,
there
right,
as well,
yes.
and so this is just kind of rounds it out for the year. Joe is checking in. Just want to say hello to Joe here. Good morning, Bill, on this cold Thursday. Yes, indeed it is. But Joe, we're giving you the information you need to know to have a warm weekend, and you do that with the Italian Festival Gala down at Undo's West in St. Clairsville. Now, I understand not only when you're mingling around, so you've got appetizers. Tell me about the lineup of the evening.
So the doors open at 4, and
Okay.
that's when you would mingle and participate in your little charcuterie. I
Okay,
hate to call it that
charcuterie.
because I know the French want to call it that, and that's what they named it.
Okay.
But we had that centuries ago, and we just called it an antipasta platter, and that's what we're going to call it for our event. But some people, you can call it whatever you want, but it's going to be good.
It's an Italian festival thing, so we're calling it an antipasta.
Platter.
Platter. There we go.
Antipasta platter.
Yeah, you do get the platter a lot when
Mhm.
Italian. So it's a platter. It's a platter
And
of
it's-
pasta. It's a platter
right.
of cheese. Platter. Yeah.
Prosciutto, salami,
Yeah.
good Italian cheeses, olives.
Okay. Stop talking.
Okay.
You make me hungry. I mean, it's close to. Well, it's actually mid-afternoon for Jordan and myself since we've been here since 3 in the
yeah.
morning. So it's like, okay, where's lunch? But it sounds really, really good. So you have that. So you have some appetizers. You have maybe a nice little glass of red,
Some wine on the tables.
little white, little red. I like the red. I'm going to go with the red. Little wine, and then dinner. But then you mentioned this earlier to me. Cookie table extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's the end. But I can tell you, unless we would cover it and lock it up,
Yeah, it's gone early.
It's gone early.
So you
Which
want to
is
be you
okay.
want to
We're really glad because we want people to enjoy it. That's a big part of our heritage and our culture. So
you want to be there for. Make sure you get some cookies.
I would be there.
Maybe some people have some plastic bags in their
Yeah.
pockets so you can take a few home with them. All right. So now we've had dinner, we've had fellowship. Everybody's having a good time, conversation. Well, you know what? I wouldn't mind dancing. If we want to understand that there's going to be some talent on the stage.
It is. It's Ray Massa and the Eurorhythms. Actually, Ray is a local guy. He's originally from Bel Air, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And as I believe this is the story, the way I heard it, he started a band when he was in college. He
All
had
right.
a little bit of extra money. He was a good singer. He had a couple of friends that were good musicians. And it just took off. I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, the best Italian-American band that we've had.
Oh, okay.
And he comes to the festival every year also.
All right.
So if you don't like to dance, he plays some nice dinner music. He plays music that you can listen to, Christmas carols. But there are some people that I've seen get out on the dance floor at the gala that I would have never believed
Thought they
would
would've
ever
gotten
got out and danced. Yeah.
Huh.
He
All right.
he just has that kind of.
See some interesting dancing moves.
We have a gal and her husband, and I'm not even sure I know their names, but they don't just do interesting moves. I mean,
They're really, really good.
they're really good. Like everybody just sits down when they dance. And
Oh,
just kinda
really?
watches them. Yeah.
It's like Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, very similar. Very
Wow.
Similar.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So now, how long will the evening go? Is it just kind of four until
so
whenever?
he will play from 6 to 8 and
Okay.
and longer if there's that
Yeah.
interest. And then in between we'll have raffles.
Okay. Well, what are some of the raffle prizes?
Well, the raffle prizes are
And this is not a Chinese raffle. This is a
this is
Venetian raffle.
Venetian raffle because
Because
we would
it's
never
the
have it.
Italian
festival.
Heritage Festival.
Yes.
All right.
yes,
just
yes.
just want to make sure.
So, well, one of the prizes is a Christmas tree full of gift cards.
Oh, nice.
That's a special raffle.
Okay.
And then we have usually, I think right now we're up to about 15 gift baskets.
Oh, wow.
So one of them is going to be from Abruzzo, which is a region that some of my grandparents are from. And I don't know if you know this, but do you love pizzelles?
Oh, yes.
'Cause
Yes.
that like a pitzel tastes good no matter what.
Mhm,
You know, a little
mhm.
bit of coffee, a little bit of milk,
Yeah.
whatever, a little bit of wine.
Just plain.
Yeah, just plain.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the one of the prizes is going to be a pitzel iron
Mhm.
and homemade pizzels. And a little history about that is the region of Abruzzo is where
Mhm.
pizzels originated.
Mhm.
So when I was a young girl, and now you're going to know how old I am for real, people use handheld pizza irons. So
Okay.
it was a pizza iron, like it had the plate here.
All
We
right.
usually made one of our family only had one, and then a long handle, and it was made out of iron. In fact, this is one of my favorite stories. When I was very young, my grandmother, she would make the dough and have the balls ready,
Mhm.
and she'd put me on a chair, and she taught me how to say the rosary by making pizzels.
That's neat.
I'd say the first
That's
half of
neat.
the Hail Mary on one side, and when you were finished, then you knew to turn it over. It was the biggest dough ever.
That's awesome.
And it was because I think it's so much because I spent that time with her.
Absolutely.
You know. But anyway, then in 1958, a fella named, I think his first name was Charles, but they called him Chip DeMarco
Mhm.
from maybe Spring Avenue or somewhere in Steubenville,
Okay.
invented the electric pizza iron in Steubenville, Ohio.
This is what we bring you on the 9-Minute Phillip. History that you may not know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I love it. But I love telling that
That's-
story because
that's
I
a
think
great
that's
story.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And he and his wife.
You wouldn't know the rosary though. If you started with that.
You're probably right because you only do one. Yeah, less time. But his wife then, when he started it like in his garage, he had like an ironworks little setup.
Okay.
And then he and his wife marketed it. They got a trademark copyright for it. And she would go down to the Hub in Steubenville. I'm not sure if
Okay.
you the Hub was
it wasn't here when
it was the biggest department store ever.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I know where it is, and I've heard stories. And
Yeah, it was a great place.
I hear the stories. Dr. J.J. Macedonian was my father-in-law, and he would tell me about Thursday night downtown Steubenville. He goes, it's 10 deep on each side of the sidewalk. Everybody's going to the movies. They're going to listen to some music. They're having some fun. He goes, you have no idea what it was like.
Yeah.
If you were here when it was rolling.
It was rolling.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Did he do well, move away and go to Beverly Hills?
I don't know if he went to Beverly Hills, but I think he did well. Yeah.
I would think.
And then since then there's been like other people.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. That's what we always talk about when I've come down to the to MC the kickoff dinner, and you get up or somebody else gets up and you talk about the Italian heritage, and when you tell a story like that about being with your grandmother and doing that, learning the rosary, and it just brings it home. And sometimes I think so many of us miss out on the history of our own family because we don't pay attention to it when you're actually learning about it. And that's something that you'll never forget, something you pass down to your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, the kitchen is a big deal in an Italian family, obviously.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Love to cook and love to eat even more. So, and I do those kinds of things with my grandsons. Now they're teenagers now, so they're not quite as impressed with those kinds of things as they used to be. But when they were, I want to say 8, 9, and 10, because they're that close in age, they all learned how to make their own pasta, their favorite pasta.
Okay. Are they pretty good at it?
The one was really the kicker.
Oh, okay.
Or the snapper was really good.
All right.
His little OCD, I think. His were all in a row, and they were all exactly the same size. And that's a big deal with cooking. That's what Jeff and I. He made cavatelli, I think, which is a peasant. In the way we make it, it's a peasant pasta. It's just water, flour, salt.
And what's the shape of it, or is it just?
It's almost like a tube.
Okay.
But it has ridges in here so that you get all that sauce in there.
Okay. You gotta get the sauce. Sauce has to stick.
In there, yeah.
But now, the great thing is though, now you said, well, maybe they're not paying. They'll remember that because I remember learning how. I always talk about it at Thanksgiving time. My grandma Reba, who all 4 foot nothing of her, she's like, Bill, you got to help me with the turkey. You got to pick the turkey up. And I'm about 15, and I'm going, what do you need me to do, Graham? And we got to wash the turkey. So she went through all the steps and the whole thing. And it was back when most people still basted the turkeys because there wasn't, all the fancy stuff. So I love doing that. And every time I get ready to do Thanksgiving turkey, thank you, Grandma Reba. So it's always good. So, so Sunday, and again, I want to remind everybody, if you're just joining us, if you're just joining in, this is Michelle Fabro, president of the Undo's Upper Ohio Valley Heritage Italian Festival. And they have, of course, the Italian Festival every summer in Wheeling over at Heritageport. And before we get into the gala once again, how did everything go this year? It always seems like it's just bigger and better.
We had good weather. That's real. Sometimes that's the deciding factor of whether the festival's successful or not. But yeah, it went really well. Good, great entertainment. We started back this year with a pasta dinner available for purchase, and Undo's did that for us on Sundays, and it was packed.
That's awesome.
It was packed. So I think we have him convinced that maybe he could do it every day this coming.
Okay. Yeah. Now you told me a little bit earlier, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag if you don't want to talk about it, but what's coming up with as you get into the new year? Because the gala kind of wraps up the year, but kind of gets the new year started. You told me there's a big announcement.
There is.
Are you able to share that now, or should you wait? Well, it'll be on the news on the other interview coming
might
up.
As well share it now.
Might as well.
Because we really are very proud.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And as a parent that his son received a scholarship, I remember it's fantastic. It's just one of those great things to be a part of.
Right. And it's a little bit different. The scholarship application is a little bit different than some of the others. We require that the kids give I think it's an essay. I'm not sure how many pages. And they have to write what their heritage has done to make them who they are, that kind of a thing. So it's really cool. But we always gave out for years. I think it started out at $500 for 2 kids in each county, each of the 6 counties: Brooke, Hancock, Marshall, and Ohio, in West Virginia, and Belmont and Jefferson, Ohio. And so over the years we've increased it, but it kind of stagnated for a long time at $1,000, which is still a nice scholarship. And we've done fairly well. So in 2025, we're going to start giving out $1,500.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, because it helps. I mean, and it just still have my daughter in school, so I just know it's like every time you turn around, it's like so if you have some of that money to help, and then as you mentioned, Ian had to write an essay, and I remember sitting there listening to it. And I cry at everything.
I was going to say crying.
I cry at everything. You know me too well.
Been crying.
And I just thought, wow, he's really paid attention to what's
his Italian grandparents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's a neat way to do that, because I think that does help, the applicants think about, okay, how have my grandparents, or how have my mom and dad, or how has my heritage, touched me over the course of my first 17, 18 years, whatever the case may be. All right. So let's go for the gala one more time. We'll go over what's going to happen as we get ready to wrap things up again. We were talking with Michelle Fabro, president of the Undo's Upper Ohio Valley Italian Heritage Festival in the summertime. But you have an opportunity to go and celebrate your Italian heritage, or maybe you're not Italian, but you just want to go to a gala. Maybe get some good food, eat some good pasta, do a little dancing, talk to some people that you probably know, and just have a great time. Well, it's Sunday, the Italian Festival Gala, Sunday, December 15th. That's this Sunday at 4:00. Doors open at 4:00. You don't have to be there right at 4:00, but the doors open at 4:00, and you're gonna have the and a pasta platter. You're gonna have some good drinks. The cookie table, not supposed to be touched until later in the evening, but if you take one early, whatever. So you have that, but it's going to be at Undo's West in St. Clairsville. And it sounds like a super busy night, but a fun night with all that you have planned. So go over the rundown again for us.
Okay. So just like a schedule kind of a thing?
Yeah, just kind of how it's going to lay out.
4:00 arrive if you can. It's a sit-down dinner at 5. And I have to give Undo's a plug, because
absolutely,
all of their food is good. But that salad that they pass around with that homemade cheese bread, that does it for me. Yeah.
That's all you need.
That's all I would really need.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course, you have to go for the sauce too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then 6 to 8, we'll have entertainment by Ray Massa and the Eurythms.
Okay.
Band.
All right.
And those games of chance.
Yep.
So we're going to have
the Venetian raffle.
The Venetian raffle.
Okay. So now, in the Venetian raffle, you mentioned that there's one that's a Christmas tree that has gift cards on
it. I think last year it was over. I'm not sure now because we're going to finalize those plans tonight, what the total value will be. But last year, I think it was close to $900.
Wow.
For tree and snack places to eat in the valley.
That'll do you well
over
like
the course of your way through the valley tree.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to go out and have something good to eat, so that's fantastic.
And we do actually have another raffle going on with this in conjunction with this, and there'll be tickets available there for this too. So I want to give a shout out to Pastaio.
Okay.
They've provided us with a chef's table for people. And we're raffling that off.
And if you haven't heard of Pastaio, it's in Wintersville, and it is I don't want to say trendy. It's a hot restaurant right now. They really do a nice job, and I think I have yet to hear someone leave there and say, "I didn't get a good meal."
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
And I go pretty often.
Yeah. And so if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. Get down to Undo's. There's plenty of good Italian restaurants all over the valley. There really is.
Really are.
So but that's one of them. And then you have some gift baskets people are going to be able to get
that
or put in
for the raffle.
Yeah, for the raffle.
Raffle.
All right.
I think we're up to 14, and then one of them would be the one with the pizza iron.
Okay, the pizza
and the story. I'm not going to give them a quiz, but I hope they read it.
Yeah,
I hope they read that history because I'm going to include it in the basket.
So now I know it. I'll remember that. I'll have to go down there and get in on the quiz. Jordan, what do you think? Can I get the quiz right, or will I forget by then?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
you better get it right. That's a good story.
That's a great story. That's a great story. If you weren't here for the story, now you have the pizza. You have your pizzas. You put the ball dough in there, right? Mm-hmm. And then you were there with your grandmother. And you had it. You started on the one side, the old-fashioned one. You have to hold it over the fire, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's wrought iron, right? Or not wrought? What am I saying? Wrought
iron.
Iron. Yeah.
So it's really very heavy.
Cast iron, probably. Mm-hmm. So like a skillet. So you're sitting there, and your grandmother says, "All right, start the rosary."
Yeah.
And the first half is on one side, and then when you get to halfway point, you flip it over, and that's how you know they're done.
And the pizza's done.
And I'd imagine if you're praying the rosary as you're doing the pizza, it's got to come out pretty good.
And yes,
I would hope. I would hope there's some divine intervention. Yeah, Mary, help me.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, what? Not to get too personal, but how you doing with your holiday arrangements? Are you ready for the big holiday and the new year?
I'm ready. I was smart enough to go out when it was pretty nice weather and put those lights on the bushes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Never. I mean, I checked in before I put them out, but I never did extension cords. But I did those. Was it yesterday?
Now, I know
morning?
I know a long snapper that should have been out there helping you.
I do too.
Yeah, and I know
a basketball player that should have been helping me, and a wrestler.
And were they there?
No.
And you know what? I have maybe someone that maybe won one of those scholarships that you talked about that, I was looking for some help on the gutters or, doing some of the Christmas lights and
they're busy.
Ian didn't show up.
They're busy.
Yeah. Too big. Oh, Dad, I've got other stuff. Okay. All right. I'll remember that. So
now he did come. I have a very tall tree.
Okay.
So one person can't bring it in. So he did come with his dad to bring the tree in.
All right.
So
we'll let him off
do
that. For that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just got to catch him on the right day and the right time, I think.
Yeah. Now, before we let you go, we have to remember, if you haven't seen it, Cooking Up a Storm, you're there. You're there trying to help Jeff as much as you can with doing the gnocchis. Am I close on that?
You're close, and he did pretty well making.
Yeah,
I had to take his dough away from him and roll it myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But he failed for the pronunciation.
He's still working on it. But it's a great Cooking Up a Storm. If you haven't seen Jeff on Cooking Up a Storm, he does a lot of really interesting recipes. He loves to cook, and one of his favorites was with you.
Well,
so and by the way,
I really enjoyed it. He made it. My daughter, I sent it to my daughter. She lives away. She said, "Were you nervous, Mom? You didn't look nervous at all." And I said, "No, it was just I was
Yeah.
just in his kitchen.
Yeah, just cooking.
Yeah.
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 And by the way, I feel under holiday dressed today because you're
I
green with the sparkles on. It looks very, very nice.
Thank you.
And I'm here in my purple tie. I don't know. I should have put the red tie on, Jordan. Jordan's like, whatever.
Do you have I'm assuming you have a stash of ties here, depending on.
I think there's a
on.
drawer over there that I just kind of rummaged through. I actually need, if anyone's watching, that maybe Ian, who didn't help with the gutters, some new ties would probably be good. You got to mix some new ties into the collection. So okay, we're gonna wrap things up, and I can't thank you enough for coming in,
Well,
and can't thank you enough for doing everything that you do, because some people, the Italian festival, it's an Italian. No, it's an event that really in the summertime, just everybody from the Valley loves it. It's one of those things where it's one of those events that you don't want to miss. It was, there are certain events, certain things that happen. Then, I got to make sure I get to that.
Yeah.
I got to make sure, and that's one of them.
And you have those 3 days to have that opportunity. And some people come just for the entertainment. Some people come just for the food. We did this past year. We had 2 new we had more than probably 2 new vendors, but 2 bakeries.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. So,
some cannolis were on the move.
So like good, and they were really good.
Yeah. All right.
So we don't do a bakery
Cannolis.
anymore because we don't want to compete with our vendors.
Yeah.
Especially since it's cannoli.
Yeah, cannoli.
Cannoli is plural.
Yeah. Well, I don't do one. I don't do one.
That's funny. Can I tell another story?
Sure, absolutely.
So, I'm in.
This is your show. I'm just here talking with you.
Well, I'm in another club, the Italian American Culture Club.
Okay.
And for you, this will be, I think, the 16th year that we're going to be putting on a camp in the summer.
Okay.
It's called Campo Italiano. And we do different things. Like I'm in the cooking booth,
Mhm.
teach kids how to cook. And so we try to do everything part of, not just say this is what we're going to cook, but a little bit of history and pronunciation is a big deal.
Mhm.
So I explained to the kids that I think it was rigatoni we were making. If it was, you don't call them rigatonis.
Oh,
The
right.
I's already plural.
Yeah.
If it was, those are more than one. It would be a rigatono. It was only one.
Ah.
And so, then you try to bring them out. Do you know any words that would be like that or whatever? And I told them cannoli. I said, if it's only one, it's a cannolo. So the little girl came back the next day and she said, well, nobody ever calls it that.
Yeah.
Cannoli. She came back the next day and she thought of another one. I can't even remember what it was now. Oh, I know what it was. I didn't tell them cannoli. I told them rigatono and a couple of the other ones. And she came back and she said, I have another one. Cannoli. She says, and the next time I go to the restaurant, when I order them, I'm going to tell them you didn't give me cannoli. You only gave me a cannolo. I thought that was really good. And, makes you know that they're really
paying attention.
And they're learning the culture.
Because, they're going to get home. So what'd you learn?
Right.
And that's going to be one of the things.
And I think not that our station is the best, but kids always remember when you're actually doing something like making something. Yeah. And then you get to eat it.
Well, they have ownership of it.
Right.
It's like, this is what I made. And then, and if someone smiles after they try something that you made, it's, look at, okay.
You feel like
all right.
success.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't thank you enough again for being here. Michelle Fabro, president of the Undo's Upper Ohio Valley Italian Heritage Festival, and you know that from the summer. But this weekend, I'm gonna give you the lineup one more time. It's the Italian Festival Gala, Sunday, December 15th. Open the door at 4, so you go in. It's at Undo's West in St. Clairsville, and there's going to be appetizers and great dinner and table wine and cookie table and the Venetian raffle with all kinds of great gifts. Ray Massa and the Euro Rhythms. So if you want to do some dancing, you'll be able to do that. Michelle's going to be out on the floor dancing all night. So there's no doubt about it. And then on top of that, you can if you're seeing this and you're thinking, well, Bill, can I still go?
Absolutely.
How does someone get tickets?
You could call the festival board office and reserve tickets and then pay at the door.
Okay.
So the number is 304-233-1090.
304-233-1090. That's pretty good.
Or we have a Facebook page. The festival has a
Okay.
Facebook page, so you can make contact there too.
All right. So if you want to go to the Italian Gala this weekend, what are we going to do this weekend to help celebrate the holidays? How are we going to bring them in? I'm going to go to the Italian festival. I'm going to go to the Gala.
Take a
I'm gonna
break
go-
from that cooking
Yeah.
and baking and
Let somebody else
cleaning
do
and-
that stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
come down and have a good time.
Exactly. Go down and have some fun, do some dancing, and have some great food. And the best part is the conversation, the fellowship. That's one of the great things, and the stories. Because
Right.
we've got a couple stories from you today. You go down there now, and the thing is, I've gone to the kickoff dinner a number of times. The stories get bigger and better every year, even though they might still be the same stories.
They do.
It's kind of like fish stories. You know,
We've
it's
been
like
very lucky with our Italian Americans of the Year. Too.
absolutely.
I know that there's a lot of times that there'll be tears because they're listening
Yeah.
to stories, or laughter, or both because they remember that same thing happening in their house. Or,
Yeah, it's a great time. So if you have a chance this weekend, if you want to go, make sure you get on Facebook. You find the Facebook page. Give a call, get some tickets. You can still go. It's going to be a great time. And Michelle, thank you, and
Thank you
and
for
wishing you
having
all
me.
the best this holiday season and into the new year.
Same to
And I'm
you.
sure next summer is going to be a great event again, and
We hope so.
everybody's looking forward to that. So thank you for stopping by, and we're going to have more on this on News 9. We're going to have a story on News 9 a little bit later on. I'm sure we'll have plenty of coverage on Sunday. So
Good.
a lot going on. Jordan, can't thank you enough.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah, she's the one pushing the buttons, making sure everything works. So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us for this edition of the 9-Minute Fill-Up. And we can't thank Valley Converting enough for all that they do. Again, if you're in the Gem City of T-Town, Toronto, if you want to get up there, have some paper products you want to recycle, they'll take care of you. Again, thank you to them. Thank you for checking us out. And Michelle, thank you very much again
Thanks,
for
Bob.
being here. And remember the 2 rules. Do you know the 2 rules?
You mean the rules I give your cameraman? I have a rule. I have
You-
rules
well,
for your
yeah,
cameraman.
you
They have to make
Well,
me
okay, you're gonna shoot me from here, and you're gonna make me look fantastic.
smart
Yep,
and skinny.
yep, yeah. And hey, you don't have to
It's
worry about
pretty
that
hard
because
to do
no, that's not.
sometimes.
You do that's all the time. That's a constant for you. Come on now. Now the other 2 rules that I have that I like to go with, 2 rules: have fun and always try your best.
Yeah.
Because if you're
I
having
like
fun
that. Yeah.
and you're trying your best, who's gonna get mad at you?
Right.
And if they get
exactly.
mad at you, you go,
Eh,
stick in the mud. We're gonna have fun and try our best.
Right.
And you know what's having fun? Making those pit cells and making some of that Italian food. And if you want to get some of that, that's this Sunday, December 15th at 4:00, Undos West. Get yourself some tickets. What's the number again? 304
233.
233 1090.
Yep.
And if you call that number, you can reserve some tickets and just pay when you get down there. And you can go and have a great time on Sunday night. A great way to celebrate the holidays and get ready for the Italian festival coming up in the
Exactly.
summertime. Michelle, thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you later.